Hello and welcome, everyone. We are here for Ashley's Heart Song, and today we have a really special guest. We have Sarah Louthan with us, and I am going to be introducing her and having her come on as we're waiting for the live audience to pop in around us. We are so looking forward to seeing who is going to join us today. But this is the place for Ashley's Heart Song, and why? Because when we tune into that, when we get out of the stress and back into our body, our life, and our business. There is no sense, y'all, in living this life, veering off course, getting sidetracked, getting waylaid, and then feeling bad about it. It is time to get back to the heart of it, get back to your heart and walk your course. So today, before we get rolling with Sarah, we want to do our vitality score. We take a vitality score so we can see where we are with our physical body, our soulful body, our spiritual body. And on the soul, we check out the mental and the emotional. All right, so are you ready? Here we go. First, we're going to address the physical body on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you have the physical body just feels like yuck, or a 10, the physical body feels really good, rocking. It just feels light and free. Where are you on the vitality score? Write it on a piece of paper. We are gauging what our score is from 1 to 10. Next is the mental body of you, your mind. Where's your mind today, y'all? Between 1 and 10, 1 being your mind is in the muck puddle, or 10, and you also have a lot of circling thoughts, or 10 being, you know what? You have captured your thoughts. You are really feeling in alignment and intentional. That's a 10. Then we have the emotional body. The emotional body on a score of 1 to 10, be sure and write down your score. 1 being, you know, you're a little roller coastery today. Or 10, you are feeling very balanced. Where are you falling? And this score is going to be really impactful when you listen to today's show, because we're going to be talking about this work-life balance. So then we also have our spiritual body. Spiritually, are you in alignment today at a 10? Or did you jump out of bed and you've been running Mach 10 with your hair on fire ever since, and you don't even remember who you're connected to? So if that is where you are, if you're a 1, then most likely you're going to run out of steam, probably by the time this show starts or is over. Or if you're spiritually aligned, being a 10, and you started your day with power and gusto, then that's awesome. All right, so add your score up, and the closer you are to 40, 40 is the top score, the closer you are to 40, you are feeling really, really good. And if you are below a 30, there is some work to do. Some work to do. So, but there's always work to do because we're humans. We're humans. All right, so let's take that score and see what you can do to improve it just by simply listening in to what Sarah and I speak to today. I have got to introduce our guest, y'all. Here is Sarah. She is the executive director of M5M Foundation, and Sarah will be sharing with you what that is and what that means. Sarah leads the efforts that help combat the epidemic of childhood malnutrition. Previously, she held the position of Director of Human Resources at Manatech. She accepted the position of Executive Director of the M5M Foundation at its launch, January 2015. Sarah was a valuable employee of Manatech for over 9 years and has always had a passion for helping children in need. Sarah has a wonderful husband, Joseph, and 3 beautiful stepchildren. She is a former city girl that lives surrounded by horse farms and in beautiful Kentucky. Lucky Sarah. Sarah, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Yes. So tell us what M5M Foundation is, because it sounds like that is, which I know that it is, but to the audience and the people who are hearing, they're going, M5M Foundation, that must really be a big deal for her. What is that?
So M5M Foundation is a nonprofit, and our goal is to serve 5 million children in need, malnourished children. And so we provide nutritional supplements to children all over the world. We've donated in 21 countries this year in 2023. And it's just work that is wonderful. So we're so proud of what we've done. We couldn't do it without all of our supporters, and we're always grateful for people who want to serve and who have a big heart to care for the children in the world who are disadvantaged. And so it's been a joy of mine to get to do this since 2015.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those dream jobs come true for you.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah. So we will get to, and Sarah, if we get to rolling on our conversation and I don't ask the question, how can people help support M5M at the end of the show, be sure and let me. But if you are listening in, know that we will definitely tell you how you can support M5M once this has touched your heart today. So to get started, there is something very specific that we were discussing earlier that I want us to go into. And you have an expertise to share, a story, so to speak, to share that's going to offer great value to the audience. And this is what I'd really like to start with today, because it is so rich in what your mission and your passion is and what I call your heart song. So rich in it. Can you share with us a little bit about that, Sarah?
Yes. So Ashley, when you say heart song, that just clicked for me because growing up, my mom always said, you'll really know like a calling or what your passion is when you feel alive. When do you feel the most alive? And I think for me, trying to discover what is that, what does that mean? So when we were talking before the show and you're kind of asking me this expertise, I thought about when do I feel the most alive? And honestly, my bent is towards others, right? I mean, that's why this is such a dream job, because I'm actually helping others. And so sometimes it's hard to know, like, am I living for them, or is this part of who I am? So when we talk about this, I thought, honestly, I would say the story and the heart song that I carry would be that I have a lot of experience working with people from all walks of life, all different kinds of people in different countries, different situations, um, different, I guess, cultures, backgrounds, and then just finding those common threads in our humanity. What makes us human? Our limits, who we are in our heart, our desires and our passions. And I would say that most of the time, my energy is spent towards wanting others to feel seen, known, and loved. I would add safe in there as well, because I think safety is part of, a healthy emotional relationship. But I think my expertise is probably the seen, known, and loved part. And that's where I really thrive.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Sarah, though. I think what the work that you do with M5M Foundation brings a level of security and safety, right?
Absolutely. You're right. It does.
If
Yes.
we don't have nutrition, then if we don't have our health, then we don't have anything.
Yes. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So balanced nutrition brings a level of mental clarity, which brings emotional stability, which, I mean, it just, if we don't have good nutrition, then we have stinking thinking, our emotions are all over
Yes.
the place. And yet,
Yeah.
so you are providing that level of security. For,
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I think about security too. And when you're talking about the kids that we serve, you're experiencing, a place where maybe they aren't able to thrive, they don't have hope. And so just knowing that someone else is caring for them and someone else cares whether they have good nutrition, it changes a lot in just their brains of what their life value really carries, and I think we all feel like that when we know someone's tuned in to just our day. Maybe it's just even asking a question of, what do you have on your plate today? Or what does this look like for you? As a child, that is huge for someone to say, here's a meal because we care that you're not receiving this nutrition from an outsider. And I think that brings a lot of value to a child's life for sure.
so much value. Yeah. So the work you're doing is so encompassing. You know, we think, oh, feeding children, okay, that's great. But no, in that feeding, there's so much feeding.
It's
Right?
true.
Body,
Yes.
soul, spirit, it's the whole package of them is what you're serving. And
Yes,
that's great work, Sarah. Wow.
it
Kind of
is.
hard, doesn't it?
It does. And I think when you experience it firsthand, which a lot of people have been able to go on trips with us and see this, you're seeing that it is so much more than just passing out food or packing food. Even we have food packing parties where you're getting the nutrition and the food gathered together, which all of those elements are so important. But for the kids, most of the time it's just looking them in the eye and smiling and caring for them that really does change the entire community, honestly.
Yeah, those photos that y'all have on M5M Foundation, oh my gosh, they will bring tears to the eyes, the joy
Yes.
that's on those kids' faces. And those are real pictures, y'all. Those are like Sarah and her crew being over there and taking these photos, and they're able to put them on there. So they're real. It's not photo stocked or anything like that.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
real life. And so that is so beautiful. So, can you explain just real quick? I think it'd be really important to kind of explain the nutrition thing. So you mentioned packing party.
Mhm.
And so can you describe what y'all do for the packing party? What are you packing?
Yes. Okay. So we have a partnership with Kids Around the World. They're another nonprofit. They have three different programs, a playground building program, because play and physical is really a huge part, right? You would say that as well. It's got to take all three: mind, body, soul, spirit,
Yep.
mind.
Body.
We can mind. Yes, it takes them. It takes all of it, right? And so, we partner with them. They have a one meal packet, and in this packet is rice, lentils, there's some dehydrated vegetables, and then phytoblend powder, which is the nutrition that we support. So you get to pack these one meals together, and these are the actual packets that go to the families in the communities that we serve. One packet is 6 meals for them.
And the phyto blend, from the word phyto, I'm guessing it's fruits and vegetables, right?
It is. It's different minerals, vegetables. We have really malnourished bodies are who we were targeting when we formulated the product. So it is a little different than some of the nutritional supplements that you would see on the shelf, but it's really tailored for that child who is malnourished.
Wow. Oh, that's so beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So they're getting their protein, they're getting their starch, and they're getting their complex carbs and all of that, but then they're getting the pure nutrition that their cells are needing for growth.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. They're
Wow.
seeing so many changes in these children,
Like what?
which is what's great is that so previously they were they had a different vitamin in their packet. And so they've been able to kind of track the progress based on what changes they've made. And they're seeing changes within kids within like 30 days, 3 months. So 30 to 90 days is really a key point there as they're receiving this nutrition consistently. And just the energy, it's exactly what you share with us all the time, like the brain fog is cleared up. And you don't think about that maybe in like a second or third grader, but learning is more difficult when you're not nourished and you're not in a nourished body. And so we see just great, wonderful stories being shared from the parents who are able to nourish their kids because we're giving. So that means a lot to a parent as well.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And we can hear in your voice the passion that you have for this. And so this is like your service project as well as it's your work, it's your career. And then you also have your family. So how do you do the work-life balance while you're living your passion? What does that look like for you?
Um, I'll say I'm learning, definitely learning. It is different and it's difficult because I'm not the kind of person that's going to say, I'm not answering emails on the weekend. I just have a hard time with with that, because to me, my work is kind of my life and life is kind of work and it all just continues. So there's not really a stopping point. So I've had to learn healthy rhythms and I've had to learn limits.
Hmm.
That's been big for me.
Yeah, limits, like, give us an example.
So I do limit my social media time and I don't have it on my phone, to be honest. I don't put Facebook on my phone or Instagram on my phone because I get attached to my phone and I just didn't want to be looking down all the time. So I allow myself to look at Facebook at certain times in the day, look at Instagram certain times in the day. And I honestly don't even post through those like social media platforms. I post my social media posts through a different platform so that I can like I don't even have to see it. I don't even have to be on my phone and I don't check notifications. Is that okay to admit?
That is okay to admit. Sarah, we commend you. And Tanya says that is such a great boundary.
Yes.
Oh my
I
word. And the strength it took to do that and to stick with it. I am
yes.
just, wow, you are my hero.
Well, okay, I want to preface this by saying I just started this in July. So we're, 3 months in, we're almost out of habit. We're almost at 90 days. And it was something that I thought, oh, I'll only do this for July. And then I realized how much more time I had not scrolling, just mindless scrolling. And I thought, I'm going to do this through August. And now it's become something that is so easy for me.
Oh, that is really beautiful. Huh. Okay. That's a challenge. So we're putting the challenge out there to the audience. Okay. Can you be brave enough to take social media off of your phone and only attend to it on the computer for 30 days to start with? Wow. That's huge.
You can join me in doing that. That was the limit I needed because I needed to spend my time more intentionally. And also, I think it helped me to be more focused when I was on social media. So I wasn't mindlessly scrolling, like I said, but I was also really just intentional about what I wanted to do and how to utilize those platforms in the best way without it becoming a negative for me.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. So what's been the benefit for you other than time expansion, which is huge, right?
Mhm.
Time is so huge. But what else, what other benefits have you noticed from doing that one boundary?
I'm present. I think it has created like a lot of moments in my life where I'm much more present than I would have been had I had social media on my
Mm,
phone.
yeah. Wow, wow, wow. All right. And we just had someone who joined in on the live audience, Sarah, that this would be very interesting because she is a social media marketing expert. And so taking the social media off of her phone and only doing it through the computer, I can see where she'd be going, what? I can't wait till we break off the Q&A so we can talk to her about that. This is
Fun.
conversation.
Yes.
And find out how, because in my world, the phone is also used because I can capture quick things and do a quick video and post it right away. And so it's interesting. So as you're sharing that, I'm thinking, okay, so how can I do this and make it work for me? And so maybe when we break out into this live audience discussion, that
Yeah.
insight around that, because that would be very cool. That'd be very
Yes.
cool. Yes, yes. All right. So Sarah, some other things that I wanted to talk to you about was,
Okay.
this month we are in a clean out mode, so to speak, clean out in every sense of the word,
Mhm.
and finding that healthy space. So in the cleaning out, it's more about simplifying things. And
Mhm.
so you have found a way to truly simplify meals, I think is what one of the things is, your menus. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the other thing I decided to do is meal plan, and that's been something I love doing. Okay, so when we talk about rhythms, I had to really discover, okay, what are my 5 rhythms. I just need 5 rhythms. And if life gets chaotic, a lot of you don't know this, but a tree fell into our home at the end of July. So life has been a little chaotic.
So wait, Sarah,
And
you have to tell how large that tree was, because people got to think a tree. So those of us living in Texas would go, okay, it'd be a big oak. Okay, I see that. But no, 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 no. You have got to
yeah,
describe the tree.
okay, this tree was about anywhere between 350 years old and 400 years old. It was a ginormous red oak tree that my husband is 6'7", and it made him look like a hobbit. It was wider than his wingspan. This tree was, it could have completely split our house into a V, but miraculously, it was like it just was laid on top of my laundry room. It did destroy a few rooms, but this created a lot of chaos just for our own family, learning how to move around and adjust when, you know, there's construction and life's not just at your norm.
Mhm.
So those rhythms for me, I've established those before. So even like I would say around the time that I got married, which was just about 6 years ago, my life changed dramatically. So I went from a single woman who had been single for over 15 years um, to, getting to spend my money the way I wanted, spending my time the way I wanted. I went to an instant family really quickly with 3 wonderful stepchildren and a husband. And so I had to establish rhythms to be able to transition me into this new time in my life, which was a major blessing, but it rocked the boat a little bit. And so it's kind of like, what are these rhythms that help me? So that those are my yeses, always a yes. And then I say, okay, if these are my 5 yeses, which one of those is cooking for my family? That was one of my rhythms. I love to cook for my family at least 4 days a week, because I usually do 5, but when making goals, I didn't go too large. 4 days a week, I want a home cooked meal. And that was a rhythm for me. I felt kind of silly making that a rhythm because most people are talking about self-care, but I enjoy cooking. I enjoy being in the kitchen. It's kind of my downtime. I don't like a lot of helpers in the kitchen. I have to admit, I like my solo time. But that planning of meals really helped me feel grounded and helped me feel like I was nourishing my family well. And it also helped me simplify that question that rolls around at like 4 o'clock of, Mom, what are we eating tonight? I almost dreaded it. And so having a menu, and also it helped me to save money on groceries, simplify some of my spending as well. I learned that if I do a monthly meal plan, that's too much for us. So I try to do 2 weeks in a row. And it's just made life a lot easier when it comes to that big question, what are we eating?
Yes, I love that. Oh, and that's fabulous, because for most of my audience and my client base, it's that meal planning is the thing that um, is most challenging, right?
Yeah.
And it's the one that really you have to put forth effort. There's a
Yes.
lot of effort that goes into meal planning. But once you get it down, as I'm sure you've seen, oh my gosh, it just gets easier and easier and easier.
Yes, it's so much easier. And in the beginning, when I first started as a stepmom, I was cooking like 2 to 3 different meals because the kids were kind of picky. This has totally simplified that. We have one meal, everyone loves it, and if not, you can grab a different meal of your own choosing, which is usually a PB and honey, a peanut butter and honey sandwich. Um, the kids jump for that, but I'm not cooking 3 different meals anymore, and that was something that simplified a lot for us.
I love that so much. You either eat what I cook, or you can have a peanut butter and honey sandwich. It's that
Yes,
easy.
yes.
I love that. I wish I had had that wisdom when my kids were growing up. Either eat what I
Well,
have a sandwich.
yeah, I couldn't cook another chicken nugget. I was like, we're not doing this anymore, folks.
Amen. Amen. Oh, wow. So what are a couple of your other rhythms? You said there are 5. So what are
Okay. Yes. So the healthy rhythms for me are the cooking from home 5 days a week. Then I do 30 minutes of walking every day. And that is not stressful walking. That is literally just walking to the mailbox, making sure that, I see some horses and some beauty. And then also I get out. I have to get out or have a fun conversation with my girlfriends once a week, and then some of that for me, really realizing this year, alone time is my recharge. So what does that look like? And that's honestly reading or setting aside sometimes it's my walk, sometimes it coincides with that, but having time where I cannot be distracted and I have to be present with my own thoughts. And that's a really big thing for me.
Oh, that's huge. I love every single one of your rhythms.
Thank you. Thank you.
They resonate with me.
Good. Oh, good. Well, it took a lot for me to decide to pay attention to myself and take care of me. I think that has been the biggest shift I've gone through in the last 5 years.
So can I ask what created that shift? Because, a lot of people here, they just like dig in their heels. I know I need to do all those things, alone time. I need to exercise and have that activity. I know I need to get with my girlfriends. I know I need to meal plan, right? All these things I know I need to do, but people tend to push all of that on the back burner until they get to the point where it's like, you either do this or else. So can we
Yeah.
ask us for you?
Yeah. So what I started finding is that anxiety started showing up again for me. And it was somewhat related to being burnt out, but it was all of a sudden thoughts that I couldn't really turn off. And it was like I couldn't get to a place where I could shut off my brain and stop the anxiety. So that's really what made me have to shift, I would say.
So in your experience, your rhythms have created this protective force field around you that
Yeah.
keeps the external world from bombarding you and creating that anxiety rhythm within yourself. Would you say
Y-
that's true?
Yes, because people would say to me, "Oh, you have to fill your cup before you can pour it out." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what that means, but thanks." I'm not sure how to fill my cup, but I mean, it's a great idea because honestly, I just never let myself think about it. Um, because I was so distracted with whatever, with other people or the phone ringing or that instant message that came through. I mean, it was just not having focus, I think.
Yeah, I think also for some other people, it could be that they don't feel deserving enough to
Mm,
spend that time with themselves in quiet.
yeah.
I think for women especially, there's that worthiness factor.
Yes.
Am I worthy of this quiet time? Can I really take 2 hours in the morning to nurture me so I can go nurture others? Oh, and I think a lot of people have that dis-ease within themselves of they just don't feel worthy of receiving
Oh,
it.
that's true. And I think some of it for me was it was so much easier to focus on everyone else than it was to really sit with my own thoughts that might bring up some discomfort, and I kind of avoided that by reaching out to everybody else.
Yeah, yeah, because then once we become conscious and aware of it, what do we do with it? Right?
Yeah.
Once we've let it in, now what am I going to do with it?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And once we become educated and given tools, then we know how. And so I'm saying that because there is a way out of it, y'all. Attend sessions
Yes.
on a weekly basis, and you will learn.
Yes, absolutely. I think the last thing I want to say, and this is because there needs to be grace, right? For those days where you just don't hit your five, which are a lot of them, is that I had to shift my mindset and stop performing, even with my own goals. I had to stop striving for them and learn to give myself grace. Because what I would find would happen is if I missed one of them, or let's say a tree falls on your house and you can't cook your home cooked meals, that would almost make me throw out the entire 5 rhythms because it was me performing or me striving to hit that. But what shifted for me was giving myself grace of like, no, these are for you, Sarah, and you might have to shift them. And that's okay because it's for me, not for anyone else. I'm not doing it to achieve, which is a big one for me, but I'm doing it for me. And so that was a shift I had to have.
That is a huge shift in awareness. Yeah, that is actually for you. It's not to prove anything to anyone, not even to yourself. It is
Yeah.
actually to nourish you. Wow, that's big. That is a lot of self-love that you have, Sarah, right? And I'm sure that has been a journey in and of itself, is creating
Oh,
for you.
huge. Yes, that's taken time. And it's still taking time, right? I'm still on the journey. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're human. It is our full life,
Mhm.
right? The journey.
It is.
Wow. All right. So tell people how they can support M5M. I want to be sure we get this in.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So we've just come up with a new way to kind of explain how to help. So there's 5 ways to help. And the first one is you can donate. You can sign up to donate at www.m5mfoundation.org. You can also talk to Ashley if you want to, or another person about Manatech products, because when you do jump on to become a Manatech customer, every product you purchase gives a donation for M5M Foundation. So that's the second way you can help. The third way you can help is by hosting a packing party. Maybe you have an organization, a church, a Rotary Club, a school where you know that they need to do volunteer work and you'd like to host a packing party. We'd love to talk to you about that. The fourth one is you could go on a trip with us. We're going to be announcing group trips next year. So if you want to raise your way to go on a trip with us, or maybe you want to just pay from maybe a savings that you have, like, hey, instead of vacation this year, I want to go to Ecuador with M5M. We would love for you to join us on a trip. And lastly, we just want you to share the word. So that's a great way to help. Just raise awareness about malnutrition, share with your friends and family, see our posts on social media and reshare them. Those are ways that you can help us. The website is m5mfoundation.org, and that's M as in Mary and the number 5. So M5M foundation.org, and you can sign up to give on a monthly basis. You can give a one-time donation, or you can just share our posts and see how to get more involved with volunteering.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you. Yes, and the
Thank you.
packing party. I didn't realize that y'all would do packing parties, like a church group doing it or something.
Yeah.
That is really cool. You've
Yes.
given me an idea.
Oh, good. Okay, that's fun. Yes. We've actually partnered with Kids Around the World. They did a packing party that was on 9/11, and they did it in 8 different cities. They did over 100,000 meals in each city.
What?
And so, yeah, so that's kind of fun. There's different organizations, school, sports organizations that want to do that. So, yes, sign up. It's a really great experience.
That is very cool. Oh, Sarah, what a joy it is to be with you today. Thank you for joining
Thank
us. And is there
you.
anything else that you would love to share before we sign off today?
I can't think of anything else, Ashley. I always love my time with you. You know that. And if it's in front of an audience or not, I'm happy to share. So thank you for giving me that chance.
Yes, I love it. I love time with you as well. Oh, just warms my heart for sure. Well, y'all, thank you so much for joining us for Ashley's Heart Song. We're going to be breaking away to join in with our live audience for some Q&A. So if you would love to do that as well, be sure and join us every Monday, 3 p.m. Central Time for Ashley's Heart Song. Until next week, much love and a big old hug. Bye, y'all.